Present.
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 And now I'll have Mr. Lazar lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are now on item 1D, adoption of the agenda, and we need to remove action item B from the agenda. Are there any other changes that the board would like to see?
No.
Could I get a motion?
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda taking out 7B.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Lisa, will you please call for the vote? Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We are now on item 2, call to the public. And we have one card, Nancy Smith, to speak about DECA. That's why I couldn't see her. She was behind the balloons. Yeah, pick it up and talk into it is best.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here to congratulate you on a wonderful group that you have. It's called the DECA Club. And I think it's really neat to be able to acknowledge groups from the school that are just doing wonderful things for our community. And 2 Saturdays ago, myself and Councilmember Wade hosted the American Cancer Society Survivor and Caregiver Luncheon. And your DECA Club came, 13 members of them, came and supported this luncheon by setting up, serving, and they did a magnificent job serving, and then cleaning up, but just the politeness and the professionalism that they exhibited to our survivors and caregivers was overwhelming and amazing. And then also their teacher, Julian Rodriguez, he did a phenomenal job. I wasn't even expecting him to come. I thought I was going to get 13 kids and I'd have to manage them and, move them all around. He did most all of that for me. He asked me, what do you need them to do, at what time? Worked it really, really well. And they were just spectacular. And I think we should all be proud of that group. And I know you have other groups as well who are just as spectacular. But I brought each of them a thank you card and one for the board and for you as well, Doctor. And I just want to thank you for allowing them to come out and support our community and serve our community. They were magnificent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for taking the time to share that with us. We will now move on to item number 3, the superintendent's report. Dr. Lopman.
Thank you. It's great to see so much school representation tonight. We have got lots of good news. So thank you for spending part of your Wednesday night here at the district office. Before we get to the celebration, I want to make sure our board and our community is updated regarding our internet and phone outage. We had a little bit of a distraction today regarding our phones and internet. As you may have heard, we experienced an interruption in our internet service that resulted in email and phone lines going down. CenturyLink has dispatched a crew to work throughout the night to locate and repair the broken line. We are communicating with families via our telephone notification system and also posting updates on social media channels. We will stay in contact with CenturyLink throughout the night and communicate any updates as they become available. So everybody's on the same page. And it's like a hard copy page. It's not digital or
Old school.
Okay, some other items of interest are on Friday, November 9th, Maricopa Unified School District. I gotta do this. There we go. On Friday, November 9th, Maricopa Unified School District hosted our first ever Veterans Day breakfast. Oops.
Oops, wrong one.
There you go.
There. Hosted our first ever Veterans Day breakfast. More than 60 employees and community members attended the event to pay tribute to our nation's veterans and to honor those who have served our country. Our students played critical roles in the event. A big thank you to our Maricopa High School second-year culinary students under the direction of Chef Greg Mann, who prepared the delicious breakfast of chicken and waffles. Maricopa High School art students under the direction of Mrs. Maria Poor, who created the patriotic table centerpieces. A special thanks goes to Cadet Rosanello, who performed the national anthem and America the Beautiful. And of course, our junior ROTC cadets under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Alan Kirksey and Master Sergeant Deshaun Gregory, who posted colors and led us in a very moving missing man table ceremony. The event was a success, and we look forward to making this a tradition in MUSD. What am I supposed to? There we go. Okay, perfect. Congratulations to Pima Butte Elementary.
Too far again.
We're gonna blame it on you.
I don't know. Okay. Congratulations to Pima Butte Elementary School for earning a bronze award for Tier 1 PBIS Fidelity and Outcomes. The purpose of the PBIS AZ Achievement Award is to identify and recognize schools for successful implementation and measurable student outcomes with school-wide systems of positive behavior interventions and support. Way to go, Pima Butte. On Saturday, November 10th, the Maricopa High School Marching Rams had a full day featuring two big performances. In the morning, the band participated in the second annual Maricopa Veterans Day Parade to honor the service and sacrifice of our veterans. In the evening, the band had their final competitive performance of their field program, Spirits of the Nile, at the AZMBA Championships. The band ended their season on a high note. The band posted one of their best AZMBA performances, finishing in the middle of their division at 10th place overall. The band earned praise for good ensemble music performance, especially tone quality and balance, as well as high marks for color guard performance. The band rose as high as 4th place in the color guard and ensemble music captions. Thank you to all the parent volunteers. They outdid themselves and were a big part of their success. We also want to thank our great staff who made this season possible: Roger Wagner, David Hales, Stuart Delaney, Eliana Areza. We are incredibly proud of the 2018 Marching Rams as they finish one of their all-time best seasons. We invite the Maricopa community to come see and hear the band and orchestra programs at our Fall Pass and Review concert on December 4th at 7 p.m. in the MHS Performing Arts Center. Admission is free. On Tuesday, November 6th, the Maricopa Unified School District Chief Science Officers, their CSOs, were welcomed at the City Council meeting. Dr. Donna Jagalski, MUSD's Technology Integration Specialist, and Mr. Dan Miller, Executive Director of the Maricopa Ak-Chin STEAM Foundation, introduced the CSO students, and Mayor Price signed and read the proclamation for STEAM Day. The CSOs invited Mayor Christian Price and City Council members to the STEAM Day event that took place on Thursday, November 8th. During the event, students led STEAM-based hands-on activities and interacted with a number of industry and community leaders. Representatives from the Civil Air Patrol, 4-H Development, Central Arizona College, and Dinner at 8 attended the event. To recognize the CSO's exceptional servant leadership to their schools and community, CSOs were provided a behind-the-scenes tour of the 911 Dispatch Center at Copper Sky. This tour offered the CSOs a glimpse of how STEAM impacts all facets of the workforce, including emergency response centers. Great news, our letter grades are on the move. Although letter grades are not the only measure we use to track progress and the grading system tends to be a little complicated, we are excited to share our current standings with the Arizona Department of Education. This year, Saddleback and Maricopa High School maintained grades of C, and Santa Cruz maintained a B rating. The remaining six schools moved their letter grades. Maricopa Wells and Desert Wind both moved to C's, and Maricopa Elementary and Santa Rosa moved from a C to a B. Pima Butte and Butterfield both earned the prestigious A label. Wow. Right. There's more. Right. This last part of my presentation fills me with such pride. We have two schools in our district who have worked tirelessly over the past year to achieve one of the highest honors in the state. Tonight, it's my pleasure to recognize both Pima Butte and Butterfield Elementary Schools for earning A ratings from the Arizona Department of Education. Pima Butte narrowly missed an A rating in 2017 by just 4 points. Their leadership team scoured assessment data and made a plan to level up for the next year. I'm proud to report this year they scored 97.82 points. Crowd goes wild. And are now a solid A. Mr. Lazar said he is most proud of the hard work and dedication from his entire team, as well as the students and their families. We are now reaping the fruits because of everyone's commitment and dedication. Pima Butte team, please come up here to the stage so we can give you the banner you've so well earned and take a picture. Travel. Nice job, yeah. Our second honoree of the evening is Butterfield Elementary. Butterfield's last letter grade was a C. They missed a B by just 5 points. That did not stop them. They regrouped, used data results to set grade level and school-wide goals, revamped the master schedule, used results-based funding to equip 3rd through 5th grade students with one-to-one laptops, and reconfigured classes to better prepare their students. I am proud to announce Butterfield Elementary School has moved from a C to an A with Mrs. Hildick said she's most proud of student growth. It's not just about how many students are passing, but how effective we are as teachers, how our students are growing. This year, we scored 49.3 out of 50 possible points for growing our students. Mrs. Hildick, that's incredible. Please come forward with your team to receive the banner you have worked so hard for.
we have like a board dance that we do?
Yeah, that was it. That was it, right there. And with that, both of those exciting celebrations for Pima Butte and for Butterfield, I'm very proud and very proud to be part of MUSD, part of the work that you do every day, and I really appreciate you and the action that you're making happen in the classrooms, and it's paying off. With that, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Dr. Lopman, and thank all of you for being here today to receive those awesome banners. Can't wait to see them hung up in the schools. We will move on to our governing board member reports. And we're going to start with Mrs. Anderson.
Okay, it's been pretty quiet. Seems like forever since I've seen anybody. So,
definitely.
I want to start off. I can't believe Thanksgiving's next week. So I just want to say I am going to start it by saying I am thankful for this board and for our amazing staff, administrators, and every single student that we have in this district, and for parents that support us. So I'm just very grateful for what we've accomplished and the growth that we have maintained and continue to have an upward climb. So I'm very thankful for that. Monday, I will be visiting Desert One Middle School in the afternoon, doing a school visit. And then I know during the holiday time, it's very, very stressful on families. And so I just wanted to put out there that there is a 24-hour domestic violence hotline that you can call, a crisis line. It's free, it doesn't cost anything. And that number is 520-836-0858. And so sometimes it helps just to talk to somebody. So I just wanted to have everyone be safe, since I won't see you till after Thanksgiving. And have a great holiday.
Great, thank you, Mrs. Anderson. Mr. Judd?
Thank you, President Norp. I had the great opportunity to get out and visit, do my visits for this year. We visited 4 schools, myself and Mrs. Coutre. On October 22nd, we got the opportunity to visit Saddleback Elementary, and a thank you to Principal Williams for taking that time out of her schedule to do that with us. We know how busy that position can be. I didn't realize how much Principal Williams had to deal with at Saddleback. It is more than the average elementary school has to deal with in terms of the programs that she has there. And I'm not sure if everyone in the district realizes that, but it was impressive to see at an elementary school level how much she has running there and running quite well. Every classroom that we walked into, those kids were engaged. And I always look, anytime I walk into a classroom, as a teacher, I have the opportunity to do it on a regular basis, but as a board member, I always bring that experience and look for the kids and see how much they're interested in me and how much they're interested in what's going on in the class. And very rarely did any of those kids turn around and look or eyeballing me and Mrs. Coutre. They were snapped in. They were listening to what their teacher was doing, and it was great to see in almost every single classroom that I walked into. So it was really impressive. And again, I want to thank Principal Williams for taking that time out. Following Saddleback, we got the opportunity to visit Pima Butte and our A school, the reason my children are part of this district. It's always a pleasure going back and seeing those teachers that taught my children. So I appreciate it. And again, Mr. Lazar, thank you for taking that time out for us to do the visit. There were a few things of note, and I'll be contacting those issues with Dr. Lopman. But it was, overall, it was an incredible experience for both of those schools to be able to see what the teachers were doing with the kids and how engaged they were in each and every classroom. That was uplifting to see, to not walk into a classroom, any classroom, and see kids not engaged. Every single classroom, the kids were locked in and listening to what those teachers were providing. On October 23rd, Mrs. Coutre and I were able to visit the middle school and the high school, Wells and the high school. And again, to both principals, I know Thad is here this evening, there he is. Thank you for taking out time to be able to do those tours with us. And again, in both situations, both schools, the kids were engaged. And I really, for the high school, that computer program, I was just so impressed. They have that business set up there, and I started thinking in my head, checking off boxes for digital equipment that I need to bring in and get fixed. I just think that that's a great opportunity for the kids, not only to be a part of basically a business. It's a real business that they run there, and to get some real hands-on technology training that they'll probably take with them. So I thought that was great to see. But overall, and with the A grades tonight, it's a great district to be a part of, and I feel blessed to be with this board and have my kids engaged in the city where they live. That's very important. And Pima Butte really pulled my children into the city, and that's so important. And I hope that the trend continues. And I think as more parents see the improvement in those grades, the benefits of the override, more and more people that live in Maricopa are going to be putting their kids in Maricopa schools. So again, it's just thank you for the time, and it's I feel blessed to be a part of the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Katray.
Well, I've started a new job this fall, as you all know, and it has allowed me some extra time. So in addition to accompanying Mr. Judd, I was able to participate in a lot of activities which I haven't been able to do in the past, and it was really rewarding to see the accomplishments of our students and our staff. Couple of things that stood out. I went to the Powder Puff game in October, juniors versus seniors. It was an amazing game. The camaraderie with the kids, it's a great thing to watch and to be a part of, and I was very grateful for that. I did attend the STEAM Day, and when they went off to the tour of the 911 call center, I got to be the chief science officer of the flubber table, people. It's important. I got rid of all my flubber. So it was a great night. I participated in the Veterans Day Parade along with, I was walking along with our blended learning program from Desert Wind Middle School, but we also had our junior ROTC leading the parade, our band, our cheer, the swim team. So it was great to see all of our students out there. Let's see what else. Peter Pan was amazing. I hope you all got to see that. Our tech crew did an outstanding job with the sets and getting those the FX so that all 4 characters were able to fly, and they flew through the air. I'm sure the parents were probably holding their breath the first time they saw it, but it was amazing. They did a great job, and I was so excited that I had an opportunity to be there. Did attend the State of the City and the Chamber breakfast, and then just this football team finished their season this year, and I have to give kudos to the players and the coaches. They made it to the playoffs for the first time since 2012, and it was great. And although they didn't advance, and it was a pretty rough game, they should be very proud of what they accomplished. New coaching style, and they were just amazing, and they should be very proud of what they did. We still have a football booster golf tournament that we have to redo. I still don't have the date yet. I was kind of hoping I'd have it. And then they do have their banquet on December 1st. And so that was really nice. And of course, I do want to mention, the general election. Thank God the phone calls have stopped. The mailbox is empty. We had some great victories. 305 didn't pass, and we've got a new superintendent, and I think the future's looking bright. It was a wonderful turnout for voters, and I hope not everybody was happy with who got elected, but I hope they continue to use their voices because it's not over, and they've learned how to be advocates, and I hope that they continue to do so. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just a couple things to report. I was able to attend the Veterans Breakfast that Dr. Loatman reported on in her superintendent's report, and I just have to follow up and say that Dr. Loatman and her staff did an amazing job putting that first annual Veterans Breakfast together. There were not very many dry eyes in the room during the missing man table presentation, and just being able to honor the veterans in our community and within our school district, the staff and teachers on that day. It was really moving, and I think it's a great way that we can continue to connect with our community. So thank you for that, and I really look forward to it next year. I've been able to attend some school functions, a couple Desert Wind soccer games. I have a player on the field, so that makes it fun. And Pima Butte Math Night was amazing. The Pima Butte staff, of course, did a great job with that annual event. And the parade, I got to be a spectator in the parade, and that was great as well. So that's all I have to report for tonight. We can move on. Information work study items. A, superintendent's goals.
Right. Tonight, I would like to publish the goals that have driven our work over the past, 4 months. Even though we're crafting our strategic plan, and that will further solidify the things that we're going to accomplish, the things that will motivate us each day. We do have a direction. We are accomplishing things right now that are reflected in the strategic plan and all the wonderful contributions that our staff members are working on right now. So as I publish these goals for you tonight, they reflect the Maricopa Y and the strategic vision that we have articulated as a community earlier this school year. Even though the goals are broad in nature, and the board has copies, and I know I
He's
think
trying to
there's
get
a
it up
slide.
there.
Okay. The goals are broad in nature, but I would like to add some descriptive detail to each one of them to support your understanding of the daily work that we've been engaged in. The first goal is to create open and effective channels of two-way communication. And some of the things that we have to date established are the Superintendent's Advisory Councils, and we have 4. The Student Advisory, the Parent Advisory, the Classified Advisory, and the Certified Advisory. We are in the process of updating our website. Hold your applause. I know that's awesome. But we've made the purchase, we've made the switch, made the decision on the platform to go to. We're really just working on the aesthetics right now, what it's specifically going to look like, the best utilization of the different features, and then we'll start moving the information over, and we think in the next couple months that we can have the big reveal. And then earlier this year, I met with numerous groups to complete the environmental scan, where we asked about the traditions, about changes, about issues that we needed to deal with, and changes that we needed to make. And then, of course, everyone gave me advice. And I have stacks of material to work from. So it's great. And obviously trends have emerged. They're reflected in the strategic plan work. And I always appreciate a good tip on how I can better function here in Maricopa. So I'm excited about those effective two-way communication channels that we're establishing. The second goal is implementing an inclusive process to craft the strategic plan. We just engaged in an event today that was step 2 of after our strategic vision, and we discussed the underlying contradictions and overarching strategic directions. So we're going to continue to articulate metrics that matter, and we will also assign those and further define those on a MUSD scorecard. The third goal is build community pride in MUSD, and we will work to establish and train our staff on customer service standards. We'll continue to host public relations type events, which would be the partner breakfast, our Veterans Day breakfast, those kinds of things where we can really celebrate who is in our community and get a chance to share what our values are, like patriotism and gratitude and service, and build our relationships around very common values. We're I have met with Chief Stahl about our safety committee. We've planned that for December. We're just identifying the folks who will participate in that. And then we are working on alternative programming right now, whether it's online, an actual alternative location for students with specific challenges, different levels of alternative programming that will help us build community pride. And then finally, working on more and more partnerships and relationships and visibility. Because one of the best things that we can do, the easiest things we can do, is show up. So that's part of our pride effort. Goal 4 is goal 4 is increasing student achievement, but really that's going to benefit achievement will benefit from all of these other goals as well. So specifically, we'll be looking at preschool and kindergarten reading, 3rd grade reading, 8th grade algebra, and our high school graduation rate. Those are common, agreed upon success indicators. When you show strength in those areas, your students are prepared for college and career. We're continuing to focus on proficiency on AZ Merit and AIM Science. And then goal 5 is plan for enrollment growth. That's the first thing that everybody says, is to be ready for growth. Our challenge, our change, and our issue is being ready for enrollment growth. So we have a capital planning committee. We have all participated in that. Even though it's only November, we're starting our budgeting, staffing, and the alignment of budgeting and staffing and enrollment process and decision-making for next year. And we're also, with the arrival of our facilities, director of facilities, we can do some very critical interim facility planning, because we know that big picture outcomes regarding our facilities are a couple years away, but we got to do something now, too. So that's important for you to recognize where we're working. These goals do not completely define the work of the entire district. Once the strategic plan is fully articulated and adopted, you and our community will have a detailed roadmap to becoming the destination district in Pinal County and surrounding communities. Know that there's a vision that's driving the work that we do, that's articulated in that strategic vision from our whole entire group. Things like establishing an organizational culture that prioritizes people over programs and supports students, staff, and families. Earning community pride through excellent customer service, open and effective communication, safe and attractive facilities, and vibrant partnerships. Ensuring every student graduates prepared to create, innovate, lead, and succeed through access and equity to highly qualified, effective staff, research-based best practices, and transforming learning through integrated technology. And finally, attracting and retaining families to the city of Maricopa, just like Mr. Judd talked about, having kids go to school in the city where they live, and the surrounding communities by providing innovative and competitive programs and establishing Maricopa Unified as the destination district in Pinal County and area cities and counties. These goals are lofty and entirely realistic when one takes into consideration the skilled leadership here at the district and schools and all the outstanding work being done in our daily in our classrooms. It is a very attainable outcome. It's this sounds redundant from what Mr. Judd said, but it is an exciting time to be in Maricopa Unified School District, and it's definitely a privilege to work here. It's my privilege to work for you and our community. And with the publication of these goals, I invite you to consider them. And I ask that you hold me to strict account for accomplishing them. Subject to your questions, that concludes my presentation on the goals.
Thank you so much. Board, do you have any questions for Dr.
I
Lotman about her
don't.
goals?
No, I think they sound great. It's kind of, we're going in a good direction.
if I may add, I will ask you to meet with me in an executive session on November 28th. That's our next board meeting. At that time, we can have a more detailed conversation in preparation for, as teachers well know, a formal evaluation process that will be coming up towards the end of this calendar year. So I look forward to that conversation and feedback and suggestions to help us continue to grow. Thank you.
Great, thank you. As you can see, great things are happening in MUSD. I'm so excited. Okay, we will move on to our item 6, the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve consent is written.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Lisa, will you please call for the vote? Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. You have to bear with us today. We're using paper, and we're used to
The internet's down.
the internet, and we're used to our laptops.
Old
so,
school people.
yeah.
That's why we're
So-
looking down.
Yeah, that's why we're looking down. Usually
not
we're
being
looking at our
rude, it's just
screen.
I'm-
Yes, thank you. I did want to note that. It's
Yeah.
because we have paper today. So, all right, we will move on to our action items. 7A, Mr. Beckett.
Thank you, President Noor, members of the government, Dr. Wilman. You have the personnel schedule in front of you tonight. I'd like to get just a second away from this and introduce number 17 on your agenda list there. Mr. Scott Foley is here this evening. I want to have him stand up and introduce himself. Scott is our recommendation for the Director of Facilities and Operations. Scott brings with him a storied background in facilities management. He worked for the state of Arizona for a number of years, managed over 1.3 million square feet of facilities throughout the state. Additionally, he owned a custodial service at one point in time. He has hands-on experience with a number of skilled trades, also experience in construction management, which I think we're going to put to good use. And he drives a pickup.
Oh, okay.
Bonus.
So, once again, if we would welcome Scott to the district, hopefully you'll endorse him, though. If you
Thank
have any
you.
questions, yeah, go ahead, you clap.
Yes.
And if you have any other questions, I can take them at this point in time.
Believe it or not, Mr. Beckett, I don't have any questions. I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, if there's no questions, I'd like to motion that we approve the HR schedule.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Lisa, will you please call the vote? Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
You have approved the personnel schedule. Welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beckett. Okay, we are now on item, I know, we're skipping 7B. We removed that from the agenda in the adoption, so we'll now move on to 7C, discussion and possible approval of the first reading of updated policy IHB, special instructional programs. So we can all find that in our,
towards the
although we've
bottom.
already
Yeah.
reviewed these.
Yeah, well,
Most of it's vouchers.
Yes. I
if in
separated
case
all that
we're
already.
getting through.
So on this one, I didn't have any changes. It's all pretty straightforward. So if there's no discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve policy IHB.
I'll second.
Have a motion and second, Lisa? Yes?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
By your vote of 4-0, we have approved the first reading of IHB. On to item D, discussion and possible approval of the first reading of updated policy IMD, school ceremonies and observances. Board, did you have any questions about this one?
Barring any discussion, motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion and second, Lisa? Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
By your vote of 4-0, we have passed the first reading of policy IMD. 7E, discussion and possible approval of the first reading of updated policy JEB, entrance age requirements. I just want to, before we discuss or motion, explain to the audience that these are mostly policies that we have to implement based off of laws that have been passed or court rulings and motions. changing our policy to comply with law, so
And it's statewide. It's not
statewide.
just our district.
And if you have
but it's
questions
statewide.
about what these policies are, they're all on our website. It's really, really entertaining reading. So,
I
okay.
just asked for clarification on this policy JEB from Dr. Lotman. Don't we already follow this, the age requirements for entrance into kindergarten and preschool?
Yes.
Pretty much, okay,
We do.
okay.
Yeah, there's nothing stricken.
Okay.
So it's
I just want to
all-
make sure we were already
Well,
doing it.
they just added a few things to it,
Correct.
that's all.
Okay. Then if there's no other discussion, I make a motion to approve policy JEB.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Lisa? Yes?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
By your vote of 4-0, we have approved the first reading of JEB. 7F, discussion and possible approval of the first reading of updated policy JICK, student violence, harassment, intimidation, and bullying.
Yeah. Clarification with Dr. Lotman again. All I see is they've pretty much taken out violence, the word violence, and replaced it with bullying.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's largely,
Okay.
and that's repeated throughout the policy.
Okay, that's what I,
Yeah, and then they changed bullets to
Yeah, to
lettering.
letters.
yeah.
Barring further discussion, motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Lisa? Yes?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
By your vote of 4-0, you have approved, oh no, I lost it.
JICK.
The first reading of JICK.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We will now move on to item 7G, discussion and possible approval of the first reading of updated policy JJIB,
Yep.
interscholastic sports.
If there's no discussion, I'd like to motion to approve.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Lisa? Yes?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
By your vote of 4-0, you have approved the first reading of policy JJIB. 7H, discussion and possible approval of the first reading of updated policy JL, student wellness.
President Noor, I do have a clarification and a question or some verbiage I would like to change.
We all knew this was coming.
Anytime you
We anticipated this.
physical
Wellness or physical education?
forget
As a physical education, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, so this is about student wellness overall, and it talks about nutrition guidelines, nutrition education, and then there's a bullet, item C, on the first page, which is physical activity and recess. And you know that we've already changed the recess policy
Yes.
before that says recess does not count as physical education.
Yes.
But physical education can count as one of the recesses when you have to have 2 recesses a day. So in this section C, the third line, it says, where it says specific physical activities. So the whole line is, the goals of physical activity are to provide opportunities for every student to develop the knowledge and skills for, where it says specific physical activities, I would like to substitute, strike out that, and put in physically active lifestyles. And then to continue, it says to maintain students' physical fitness, to ensure students' regular participation in physical activity, and to teach students the short and long-term benefits of a lifelong, inserting the word lifelong, physically active and healthful lifestyle. So it's just inserting those 2 things, and that's the only change I would like to ask and indulge the board in that, please.
Board?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
So go
All
ahead
right.
and make a
Are there any
motion.
other changes or questions on that?
Okay,
Okay.
so then I'd like to make a motion to approve policy JL with the changes in item C, striking specific physical activities and inserting physically active lifestyles. And then in the last line, inserting a lifelong physically active and healthful lifestyle. I would like to make a motion to approve with those changes.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second with the amended changes. Lisa? Yes?
Yes?
Aye.
Aye.
By your
Thank you,
vote of 4-0, you have approved the first reading of updated policy JL with the noted changes.
Thank you.
Thank you. 7I, discussion and possible approval of the first reading of updated policy JLCD, medicines, administering medicines to students.
And
Okay.
this is part of that House Bill 2085 that was just approved.
And we've had discussions regarding this
Correct.
policy in the past.
Yes.
Yes, we have.
Several discussions.
The medicines, administering medicines to students.
Yeah.
So this
It
has
has
to
to
deal
do
with
with the
epinephrine.
epinephrine pills.
Epinephrine pens and training, and then being able to receive donations of EpiPens.
Because they are
Or
not-
partnering with groups that can provide EpiPens to the schools.
If there's no discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve policy JLCD.
I'll second.
Have a motion and second, Lisa? Yes?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
By your vote of 4-0, you have approved the first reading of policy JLCD.
Thank God. This thing fell apart.
And with that, we are on item 8A, which is adjournment, and it is 7:18, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Awesome.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
Pima Butte. and
Nice.
Saddleback.
No.